from SUP The Creek. We've just done the technical race. There's going to be a prize giving in a minute. As you can see, I've got Starboard in the background, and there's great demo boards here to try, including the Allstar, which I was on. I paddled the 24.5 again. Absolutely love it, so stable. For me, this was the first race that I've actually ever quit. I had a really good time. I've got a lot to learn about swell and waves. As you know, I paddle mostly on the sea, but we don't really get waves or rolly swell. And yes, cow shot the other week was nuts, but this was really different, and I'll explain more later. But after lap 2, I just thought, do you know what, I'm going to save myself for tomorrow. So tomorrow will be the distance race. Oh, now it's the prize giving. Yeah, so you'll be able to demo more starboard boards tomorrow. I'm just going to show you around. And I just had a really good time going out just now and doing a nice bit of practice and learning. That's what it's all about, you know, getting out there and learning. I really love the sea. I'll always be a sea paddler. So it's just nice to get out there and experience that, you know. But yeah, it's a beautiful day today, really warm. I'm actually going to have a swim in the sea before I leave. Lynn here, and Lynn is an awesome paddler, and what I love about Lynn is the fact that despite her age category, if I say so myself, she is super strong. Like me, she loves going out in the wind and the big chop, and she lives near a coastal area which has a lot to give in terms of paddling, windsurfing, all that. Lynn's from let's just have a bit of background from Lynn first. So Lynn, how did you get into paddling, and tell us a little bit about your windsurf background and water sports background in general?
Okay, so I've been doing windsurfing since I was a teen. I think I was 14, 15. So windsurfing is the main water sports that I did. A little bit of surfing, but not much. When there was no wind, I would paddle my windsurf board. And this was before paddleboarding was invented. And then, of course, paddleboards came out. And I got hooked. And so I've been actively racing for three years now. Awesome. Paddleboarding though for the 20 plus.
Love that. And so tell us a bit about today, Lynn. Obviously we had cow shot the other week, which we thought was pretty wild, but this was completely different, wasn't it? Because at cow shot, the way I would describe it is we had big swell, but we had washing machine style chop and really crazy wind, which for the downwind was fantastic, but for the upwind was a good workout. But today, for me personally, a lot of swell I'm not used to, with big waves, and obviously an opportunity to surf as well. So can you just, because you described it really well earlier when you spoke about it, so explain this race today.
So today, the technical, it looks wavy, but when you're out there, it's really wavy. It's not your regular type of waves. If anyone's been surfing, it's a surfer's wave. So what happens when you're out on the surf is you can see the wave coming towards you. You need to make sure you're just before the wave. As it comes, you then get on it and ride it. Now what was happening today, I noticed, was a few people would miss that wave, try to catch it behind it. They end up in they end up in a dip. And what happens when they're in that dip is the wave goes over them and they tumble and they fall. So that was happening a lot. So you had to be right on the wave and ride with it.
Got ya.
The waves were very high.
And when, because we started, for you guys that don't know the course that we did today, so we started with a beach run, jumping on board and going out into the winds, round the corner. And we had some turns, and then once we got round to the second buoy turn, that's where it got hairy, and that's where the big waves started to come. Now you had the option there to go right into it and ride the waves, but either way, for us guys that didn't want to ride the waves, we had to go near the pole on our left. And what I found tricky about that personally was the waves were still rolling, but then they was breaking and crashing, so there was a lot of a dump going on.
So then you had white horses.
Yes.
And
that was tricky.
On a paddleboard, that's as good as undoable. So there were a couple of people who were on a 12.6. They had an advantage. There was a nice chunky board, 30, 32 wide. I saw some guys on a 10.6.
I know, me too. Wow.
And they were great.
Wow.
Now, that's not going to give them speed.
No, but it gave them stability.
At that dump where they were coming in, so
Yeah.
on the riding the wave, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But going over the wave and hitting the back into the dump,
Oh,
they
yeah, I
had
see
a
what
great
you mean.
advantage. Us on the race boards, well, it was gnarly.
It was. And so today, guys, as you probably saw on Instagram, I did 2 laps and called it quits. I've never quit a race, but for me personally, it got to a point where I just wasn't enjoying it enough. Now, I love the sea, as you all know. So what I did after race, I took myself out, and I really enjoyed just getting used to the conditions here. I had a good learning experience. So what I always say to everybody, you know, when you do a race, don't get het up on finishing it. Think about what you're trying to get from it yourself personally, because we're all different levels, we're all on different boards, we've all got different experience, health backgrounds, all sorts of things, you know. So it's about getting out there, giving it a go, and if you're not enjoying it, come back in. What would you say about that, Lynn?
I would totally agree, because if you did try to push yourself, you'd probably have a knockback.
Totally.
I would say, come in, have a word with yourself, and exactly what you did. You were already wet.
Yeah.
Go out and have a little play
100%.
and learn from it.
It was really fun doing that, because what I was personally doing was, because where I paddle, as you guys maybe know watching, I paddle on the Thames estuary, which technically isn't really the sea. So we don't get big swell waves, that kind of thing, but we do get a lot of crazy washing machine chop and messy chop, and that's fun. I've learned a lot from that. But when I come to a place like this and you see the rolly swell and the waves, and it's a totally different story, and it's exciting in a way, because it's like, oh, I've got something to learn. I mean, you never stop learning with this, just like with any sport. So yeah, it's just really awesome getting those opportunities. And if you look out here right now, there's some people paddling and enjoying it and having a little play. And this is my 3rd race in Devon. I did SUP 12, which was similar to this with the tidal conditions and all that jazz in like a bay with wind and all sorts. And Lynn did this as well, didn't you, Lynn?
Yes.
And that was fantastic, wasn't it? That was also a really good learning experience. But this was very different. Would you agree with that, because of the big waves at the back?
Totally. And I would also say that if you came off your board on one of those waves, that tumbling effect is totally different.
It is.
In a river or in other parts of the sea. In a surfing area, you'll flip and you'll tangle. And there was quite a lot of did not finish today.
Yeah.
And there was a few rescues.
Yeah.
So it was
tough.
hairy. It was hairy.
It was really tough. And I'd like to also congratulate those that were on inflatable boards today, because wow, what flipping champs to get out there on an inflatable, honestly. Even though the wind was not nuts, it was the swell to deal with, the waves, the direction of swell, the undercurrents and all that jazz, and the tidal conditions, of course, as well. So honestly, guys, well done. And I'm glad the sun stayed shining. So Lynn, you're looking forward to tomorrow's race? The distance?
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be
Really
great.
looking forward to
So
it.
stay tuned for that part, guys. Thanks, Lynn, for having a little
you.
interview with us. Thank you. And by the way, I'll link Lynn's Instagram in the description box, so you go and give her a follow. Bye.
So I've done some filming for my YouTube vlog. If you didn't know, I've been vlogging a lot of the races. I've got some stuff that I need to edit yet, but I also have done some little mini videos with paddlers. But I just wanted to recap on today. So it was a really fantastic experience. I love the sea, I really, really do. And as always, it's great to learn stuff. But I'm really pleased that I listened to myself and came in after that second lap. And yeah, what I did after is I went out and paddled and had a really good time, you know, learning more and just taking my time and practicing. And the sun has shone all day. Big thanks to Starboard for collaborating with me again. Thank you so much. The board is incredible, the 24.5 Allstar. I would like to try the 23 at some point too. Starboard are still here. They've got boards to demo if you want to come down. And yeah, it's been a fantastic race, and congrats to the people that were on iSUPs. Oh my gosh, like honestly amazing. And congrats to people that it was their first race, because what a first race to do. So yeah, I still really, really love the sea. I'm definitely a sea paddler, and I'm very excited, you know, to spend these years ahead of me learning so much more about these kind of conditions. All in all, it's been a really great day actually. Now we're off to paddle. Yeah. Hi guys, so we're here for SUP The Creek and this is the flat water distance race. It's absolutely stunning conditions today. We've got Starboard SUP UK here and got some demo boards if you want to come down and test them out. The race kicks off at, oh my god, I've forgotten the time, it starts 12 I think. Race briefing's at 11:30 and I'll be on the Allstar 24.5 which I absolutely adore. It's super stable and like the name Allstar, it's fabulous for all conditions. So yeah, come down and say hi. Hi guys, so I decided to do something different and film from the journey home. As you can see, I'm pretty run down, I'm super tired. I actually feel very run down, which I hope that I'm not getting ill, because obviously I've done much bigger distance races than that. So yeah, who knows? Maybe I've just had a hectic week before coming here. So yeah, SUP The Creek, lowdown about it. So it's my first SUP The Creek, and if you didn't know, SUP The Creek is hosted by Waterborne SUP, which is based in Kingsbridge, and they offer paddleboarding lessons, tours, all sorts of great stuff, run by Crispin, and go check them out if you don't know the links, I'll put them below. So yeah, SUP The Creek is hosted in Devon, and the technical was at South Sands on the Saturday. You didn't have to do the technical and distance if you didn't want to. So yeah, you don't have to do both the technical and distance, you can do one or the other. What is great about the distance race in particular is there's all different categories, like loads and loads of categories. So even if you just wanted to turn up and do 1k, guess what, you can do that. And of course they have both hardboard and iSUP categories as well, which I think is great, makes it more fair. But the only thing that I personally was a little bit confused about, and every race format is different, but the age categories. So I was in the 18 to 39. So I was with the likes of the incredible Holly Pye, Annabelle Page, and other such incredible young athletes who are super fast, very inspirational, very lovely people. But with GB SUP, for example, my age category is 30 to 39, is it, or something like that? I'll put all the info below if you're curious. And I guess maybe they've done it that way because they didn't have enough people enter within my age bracket and within their age bracket, so they put us together. But it just means, like, you know, not that I raced to place, but it means that it does put a little bit of a damper on things, because I feel that I'm trying, I mean, I'm not trying because I know it's not possible, but I'm with the youngsters that are super fast, and I like to compete against people in my own kind of age bracket, really. But as I mentioned, you know, what I do like when we are on the water with these young ones is they are very inspirational to us older ones. And I'm not old, I'm 36, but I've only paddled 2 years. So there's that, but like I said, it must be because there just isn't enough people. Whereas in the next age bracket, there's a lot of people. You know, there's not many of them, us in my age bracket actually, that race. And it's like the Easy Race series, they don't do that either. They do novice, which you can do for a year, which I think is absolutely fair, because a year is plenty enough time as a newbie racer. And then they have the 14 hardboard women's, 14 hardboard men's. The 12-6 category doesn't tend to exist anymore, I don't think. Because yeah, the easy races are much smaller, so there's no need for them to have age categories anyway. So yeah, it's interesting, you know, it's all different. And again, aboard the series of racing is all different as well. So anyway, we was very lucky with the weather, as you probably saw. Oh my god, today we're on the way home, it's raining, it's windy. So god, I'm just so grateful for that, I really am. Our team, Frangipani, if you didn't know, Frangipani team is run by Annie Riddle-Smith. She is one of the original paddleboarders in the UK, actually, as far as I know, and one of the original schools. And we have our own little group. If you want to join, check it out, link below. You don't have to be a racer. You can just enjoy doing challenges, you know, and just put yourself out there, you know, and just learning. And she also does coaching and all sorts of stuff. So again, link below if you want to check it out. So a group of us, Frank and Honey, all went together. Suzanne, Lukey, me and Sarah all drove down together in 2 cars, which I was very grateful for because I would not have got here otherwise. Because I don't mind getting the train, but the drama I had with this one in particular is very spaced out. So if you're using public transport, it's not the kind of race that you'd be able to do because there's not really any buses, and taxis would cost you a fucking fortune. So yeah, you know, if you're going to be coming to this race, ideally you need to be driving to it, or, you know, hitching a ride with somebody. And the other reason I probably wouldn't have done this race is the expense. The accommodation near to the race is very, very expensive, unless I guess you book it super in advance. For example, at South Sands, there's a very posh hotel there, which is beautiful, but I think it was like £250 a night, good grief. You know, and okay, if you can afford that, congratulations, well done you, but the rest of us mere mortals, we are, you know, on a budget, because after all, this is a fun thing that we're doing. So we got lucky enough to get a caravan that was super cheap and very cosy in a nice spot just 30 minutes away from the races. So yeah, you know, with racing, you guys, it's not, you know, everyone thinks it's so easy organising it all, but it really isn't. There's a lot to think about, and even things like what you're going to wear, like, you know, the weather surprised us. And I wore my 1.5mm Rooster long chain wetsuit, which was fine for the technical with a long sleeve rashing. I'm glad I didn't wear any layers under it, but it was just beautiful weather, honestly. Sun shone both days, got super hot and sweaty, wonderful. I'd much rather be sweaty than cold. But it goes to show, you know, you have to think about things like that. So yesterday's race, I actually unzipped my wetsuit halfway before I started. Thank God I did, because my God, it was sweaty. Yeah, so the distance race yesterday was the flattest water race I've ever done in my life, extremely flat, which was a surprise because I've never had a race so flat. And personally for me, I was kind of grateful in a way because I just wanted to not have to deal with any chop or anything. I love choppers, you know, I am a sea paddler, sea is my thing, but it was just nice to experience something different. It was a very fun course, it was laid out really well, it made it interesting. Sometimes I do get a little bit bored on these, say, you know, lake races, but it's nice when they, you know, whack a few turns in, do an interesting course setup. So yeah, personally I really did enjoy it for that. The technical race on Saturday was the only race I've ever quit, as you'll know from the previous bits of video before this video. I did 2 laps, I gave it a good shot, you know, but I just couldn't get my sea legs, and as I mentioned in that video, I'm not used to rolling swell and big waves. But there's stuff to learn, and that's exciting, you know, always stuff to learn. It's a bit like ballet, and actually a lot of sports in that respect. There's always things to learn, it's never boring, and I like that because you'll never know it all. And again, it was very inspiring to me to be out there on the water with people that can manage those conditions and even surf it. Wow, so exciting. I did, after that race, take myself out and do some practice, and I enjoyed that thoroughly. I actually enjoyed it more than the actual race itself, for me personally. And then after I went on a leisure paddle with my friend Lynn, and Starboard SUP UK kindly lent me a deluxe tourer for that. So I was very grateful for that. Speaking of Starboard SUP UK, thank you so much for helping me out with this. I appreciate it, absolutely stacks. And this new Starboard Allstar 24-25, they're not changing it for the 25 season because they don't need to. It's an absolute winner, you guys. It's so stable. I was on the 24.5, but yesterday I tested the 23, and again, very stable. I really want to test the 23 chop next. So yeah, check those guys out. You know, they're always happy to help. And of course, they don't just sell paddleboards; they sell everything else, water related. So that was amazing, getting the chance to race that board again that I raced in Calshot. And what was surprising to me was in Calshot, it was much more challenging, especially with the wind and big boat swell and stuff. And I managed to, you know, do that race and enjoy it and had such an adventure with it. But this time round, I quit after 2 laps of the technical, despite also being on the sea. But
I think what it was, and after speaking to other racers, by the way, who are more experienced in it, is the way the swell was happening and the waves, the big rolling waves. And I just can't describe it to you guys very well. If you were stood on the beach looking out, it wouldn't look that bad. But when you're out there, especially when you're further back where the waves actually are, it's super interesting. Anything else? Not much else. If I'm rushing home because I am going to be packing everything, my makeup kit. If you didn't know, I'm a makeup artist as well. I've had a couple of years out, but I'm coming back into it. One of my friends who is terminally ill from cancer is having her wedding tomorrow, so I am going to be doing the makeup for her and 3 bridesmaids and attending the wedding myself. So I need to get myself in ship shape and get myself out of this rundown mode and start to feel better. So that's my priority. And obviously I run my own business, as you know. I've had customers nagging me all weekend, but that's the downside to being self-employed, guys. It's not an easy ride. You are constantly working 24 hours a day, but you know, you just have to learn that balance. So I've ignored the customers obviously because God, need a break. And yeah, so next up race wise, if you didn't know, we're quite lucky in the UK actually. We've got the Oxford SUP Club series coming up, Bray Lake series, Go With The Flow series, to keep us going through winter. Obviously weather dependent, these races can and will change, especially the Go With The Flow series where they're doing some of them on the River Thames, because that can get too fast and too high. Personally for me, next is Oxford SUP Club. I really enjoy that series. And the next day, instead of doing the Go With The Flow one, which I don't think personally is going to happen anyway because of the river being high still, I'm going to give Bray Lake a shot, I think, because I've never done a race at Bray Lake, and that's where I got my first board, my first paddleboard, which was a Red Sport 11.3 by 32, and I also brought my first Black Project paddle from there last February. Wow, this video is already 10 minutes, gosh guys, well done if you got through it. So I like to do these videos, by the way, because I want to give you an insight into racing, and I want you guys out there that sat on the fence and are going to yourselves, oh, I'm not fit enough, oh, I can't do this, can't do that. Guess what? There's all ages, there's all abilities out there racing and challenging themselves as well. It's not just about racing and competing, it's about getting out there and enjoying it, and you don't know if you're going to enjoy it until you try. So I would highly recommend, if you're still sat on the fence and still saying to yourself you're not fit enough, just get out there and give it a go. You know, if you don't like it, guess what? You can come off the water and never do it again. No one's going to judge you. It's a great community, and it's what I personally like about it is the therapy from it. I can switch off. I just love being on the water, and it gives me a great sense of just relaxation in a way, I guess. And I love having worked myself mentally and physically. And being around great people, you know, it's an absolutely fantastic community. It's always growing, and even the young ones, you guys, we're looking, you know, we need more juniors. So if you've got a youngster out there, or maybe you're young and you're watching, you know, I hope that you can get the support to get yourself out there and try some races. That is about it for now. I'm going to put together all the clips from this weekend into a big vlog and upload it. I still haven't uploaded the Kelsham one, I don't think, so that will probably come first actually. And I've still got ones from like SUP 12. So what I'm going to be trying to do is make a schedule. I'm not going to try, I am. Make a schedule like I used to do for my ballet YouTube and batch edit and schedule them in so that I'm ahead of myself and I can have time for everything in life. Because you know it's like we all do loads of things. Yeah, so I shall speak to you soon, and if you didn't know, follow me on Instagram, Pinky Paddles. I've got a Facebook as well, Pinky Paddles. And I'll put the links to Frangie Panny, Rooster of course. Sorry guys, totally forgot about Rooster. If you didn't know, I'm a Rooster ambassador. You'll see me in all their clothes. I'm always mentioning them on Instagram and all the other socials. The clothes are fantastic, very long wearing, different array of items for different weather conditions, and I like them for their layering system, and very durable, you know, like very, very durable. When you're spending money on water sports clothing, you want it to last, you don't want it to be falling apart after a few wears. Anyway, that's enough. Bye guys.